Clapperboard Part 1 The First Whisper. Agar tum kabi rat ko pani kapas ruki ho. Tushayad tumbi wo was suan id ho. I didn't believe in things like that. Not whispers. Not things in the dark. Not whatever people claim lives near water after midnight. But that was before I moved here. Before the lake. Before the voice started calling my name. The house sits alone. At the far edge of a dying village. If you walk past the last streetlight, past the broken road, past the trees that don't move even when the wind blows, you'll find it. Small wooden house. Rotting walls. Crooked roof. Windows that look like they're watching you. And behind it, the lake. Black. Silent. Too silent. Got the place cheap. Suspiciously cheap. The landlord didn't ask questions. Didn't even look at me properly. Just handed me the keys and said, "You'll be fine." I should have known. People don't say that unless something's wrong. The first day was normal. Unpacked. Cleaned a little. Opened the windows. The air smelled strange. Not bad. Just wet. Like the smell you get when you open something that's been closed too long. Something damp. Something that shouldn't be breathing. By evening, the silence started to feel heavy. No traffic. No voices. No animals. Not even insects. Just the sound of water. Far away. Even when I was inside. Night came fast. Faster than it should. By 9 p.m., the entire place was swallowed in darkness. The electricity flickered once. Then died. I didn't bother fixing it. Didn't feel like leaving the house again. So I used my phone flashlight. A weak beam of light in a house that felt too big once the darkness settled in. I remember standing in the hallway. Looking toward the end. Where the stairs went down. I don't know why. But it felt like something was standing there. Just out of sight. Waiting. "Relax," I whispered to myself. "It's just a new place." But my voice sounded wrong. Too loud. Like it didn't belong in that silence. I went to bed early. Locked the door. Checked it twice. Then lay down staring at the ceiling. Listening. Always listening. First there was nothing. An sound. Very faint. Very slow. Rip. 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 I opened my eyes. It was coming from somewhere inside the house. Not outside. Not the lake. Inside. Sat up. "Probably the bathroom," I muttered. But something didn't feel right. The sound echoed too much. Like it wasn't coming from one place. Like it was everywhere. Checked my phone. No signal. Time. 3:07 a.m. That's when I heard it. I yawned. Froze. Completely. My body locked. My breath stopped halfway. That wasn't a sound. That wasn't pipes. That wasn't imagination. That was my name. I yawned. The whisper came again. What? Like it was spoken through water. Right outside my door. My heart started pounding so hard it hurt. "No," I whispered. "No, that's not real." But deep down, I knew it was. A door. It was slightly open. Just a crack. I was sure I had closed it. Locked it. Slowly. Very slowly. I reached for my phone. Turned on the flashlight. The beam shook in my hand. I pushed the door open. The hallway stretched out in front of me. Long. Dark. Too dark. The light didn't go far. Just faded. Like something was swallowing it. Rip. 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 Louder now. "Come here." The voice whispered again. From the end of the hallway. Near the stairs. Every instinct told me to shut the door. Lock it. But something else. Something stronger. Pulled me forward. I stepped out. The floor creaked. Too loud. The sound echoed down the hallway. And then. The dripping stopped. Silence. Complete. Heavy. I took another step. And that's when I saw it. Puddle. Right in the middle of the hallway. Water. Dark. It wasn't there before. I was sure of it. Crouched slightly. Shine my light on it. The surface didn't move. No ripples. No source. Just there. Closer. The whisper came again. From downstairs. I looked toward the stairs. The darkness there felt deeper. Thicker. Like it had weight. My chest tightened. This is stupid, I whispered. But I kept walking, step by step, closer to the stairs, closer to whatever was waiting. Halfway there, temperature dropped. Suddenly, sharply, my breath became visible. The smell hit next. Wet, rotten, like old water that hadn't moved in years. Covered my nose. What is that? Movement. At the bottom of the stairs. Something shifted. Just slightly. Froze. Hello, called out. My voice trembled. No answer. I raised the light. Pointed it down. And for 1 second, just one, I saw it. Figure. Standing perfectly still. Too tall. Too thin. Pitch black. No face. No details. Just absence. Looking up at me. My heart stopped. And blinked. It was gone. Nothing there. Just empty stairs. I stumbled back. Almost slipped. No, no, no. I turned and rushed back to my room. Slammed the door. Locked it. Pushed the chair against it. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my phone. This isn't real, I whispered. This isn't real. Then my phone buzzed. Froze. Slowly. Picked it up. No signal. Message. Unknown number. Opened it. Why didn't you come closer? My stomach dropped. Another message. Instant. Photo. My fingers hesitated. Then I opened it. And everything inside me went cold. It was me. Standing at the top of the stairs. Taken from below. Clapperboard Part 2. The reflection doesn't follow. I didn't sleep after that. How could I? There was a photo on my phone. Taken from inside my house. From the bottom of the stairs. Looking up at me. Checked every door. Every window. Nothing broken. No signs of anyone. No footprints. No water. Nothing. But the photo was still there. Clear. Real. I sat on my bed until morning. Lights on. Back against the wall. Watching the door like something might crawl through it at any second. At some point I must have dozed off. 'Cause the next thing I knew, sunlight was leaking through the window. Weak. Gray. Cold. Morning didn't feel safe. Just felt quieter. Like whatever was in the house had gone to sleep. I grabbed my phone again. The messages were still there. No number. No contact info. Just empty. Like they never came from anywhere. I opened the photo again. Zoomed in. My hands started shaking. There was something else in it. Something I hadn't noticed before. At the bottom of the stairs. Behind the railing. Shape. Dark. Blurry. Standing right where I saw it last night. Watching me. I dropped the phone. No, no, no. This wasn't stress. This wasn't imagination. Something was inside that house. And it knew me. I couldn't stay inside anymore. I stepped out. The air hit me immediately. Cold. Even though the sun was out. And then I saw the lake. It was closer than I remembered. Much closer. I'm not joking. It felt like the water had moved overnight. Like it had crept toward the house. Just a little. But enough to notice. That's not possible, I whispered. The surface of the lake was perfectly still. No wind. No ripples. No sound. Looked like glass. Black glass. I don't remember deciding to walk toward it. But I did. Slow steps. Like something was pulling me again. The closer I got, the quieter everything became. No birds. No leaves moving. No distant sounds. Just silence. And that faint smell again. Wet. Rotten. I stopped at the edge. Just a few inches away from the water. For a second I didn't look down. I didn't want to. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. I looked. My reflection stared back at me. Tired. Slightly sunken. I lifted my hand. My reflection didn't. Just stood there. Staring. My chest tightened. Okay. Okay, that's not funny. I waved my hand again. Faster this time. Nothing. The reflection didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't react. Just kept staring at me. Very slowly. It smiled. Wide. Unnatural. Too slow smile. My breath caught in my throat. No, The reflection leaned closer. Closer than I was. Its face stretched slightly. Distorted. Like something was pushing from behind it. And then, its mouth opened. I yawned. The voice came from the water. I stumbled back. Fell hard onto the ground. No, no, no. When I looked again, the water was normal. My reflection moved. Perfectly in sync. Like nothing had happened. I scrambled to my feet. Backed away from the lake. Heart racing so hard it felt like it might burst. Stay away from that. I spun around. An old man stood a few feet behind me. I hadn't heard him approach. Not a single footstep. He was thin. Too thin. Skin pale. Eyes sunken. Like he hadn't slept in years. You're new, he said. His voice dry. Careful. I nodded slowly. Yeah. I just moved in. His eyes shifted toward the house. Then back to me. That house, he muttered. You shouldn't have taken it. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. What do you mean? He stepped closer. Lowered his voice. People don't stay there. I forced a weak smile. Yeah, I'm starting to see why. But he didn't smile back. What did you hear last night? He asked. I hesitated. Then said it. Someone called my name. His face went still. Completely still. And the water? He asked. I swallowed. There was a puddle. His eyes closed for a second. Like he already knew. It always starts like that, he said quietly. A chill ran down my spine. What does? He looked at the lake. Long. Careful. They don't like being ignored. My heart skipped. They. He didn't answer right away. Instead he asked, did you look into the water? I didn't respond. But I didn't need to. He saw it in my face. You shouldn't have done that, he whispered. My chest tightened. What are they? He leaned closer. So close I could smell the dampness on his clothes. That lake, he said slowly, doesn't show reflections. My breathing slowed. It shows what's looking back. A wave of cold ran through my entire body. What does that mean? I asked. He straightened. Took a step back. Whatever you hear at night. He paused. His voice dropped even lower. Don't answer it. A long silence followed. The wind picked up slightly. For the first time since morning. The surface of the lake trembled. Just a little. And I swear, for a split second, I saw multiple shapes beneath the water. Moving, touching, and blinked. They were gone. I looked back at the old man. What happens if I do? I asked. He stared at me. Long. Too long. Then he said. You already did. My stomach dropped. Before I could ask anything else. My phone buzzed again. We both looked at it. Slowly. I took it out. Another message. Unknown number. Opened it. A video this time. My hands trembled as I pressed play. The screen showed my house. From outside. Nighttime. The camera slowly moved closer. Toward the front door. The door creaked open. On its own. The camera entered. Walked through the hallway. Toward the stairs. And then. Looked up. Me. Standing there. The top. But this time. I wasn't alone. Something was standing behind me. Closer than humanly possible. Its head tilted. And the video ended. I looked up at the old man. My voice barely worked. That was last night. He shook his head slowly. No, he said. My chest tightened. That's tonight. Clapperboard Part 3. It's standing outside my door. I didn't go back to the lake after that. I didn't say goodbye to the old man. I didn't even look back. I just ran. Back to the house. Back to the place I was starting to realize. I shouldn't be inside anymore. My hands were shaking as I unlocked the door. For a second, I hesitated. 'Cause something felt wrong. The door was already slightly open. Thin gap. Darkness inside. I closed this. My heart started pounding again. Low. Heavy. Like it knew what was waiting. I pushed the door open. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No dripping. No footsteps. Nothing. But the air. The air was colder than before. Like the inside of a cave. "Ayan!" called out. My voice sounded small. Weak. No answer. I stepped inside. Closed the door behind me. Locked it. The click echoed. Loud. Unnatural. I walked into the hallway. Every step felt louder than it should. The floorboards creaked. Long. Low. Like they were warning something. Or someone. I looked toward the stairs. And for a moment, I thought I saw movement again. Shadow. Gone before I could focus. "No," I whispered. "You're not doing this again." I forced myself forward. Toward my room. Halfway there. Stop. The smell hit me. Stronger this time. Wet. Rotten. Like something had been soaking in water for too long. My stomach turned. "Ayan!" The whisper. Right behind me. I spun around. Nothing. The hallway. But the air shifted. Like something had just moved out of sight. My breathing got faster. "Stop it," I said. "Stop it, stop it." I rushed to my room. Stepped inside. And froze. There was water on the floor. Thin layer. Spreading. Slowly. No. It wasn't there this morning. Check. I was sure. I stepped back. The water touched my shoe. Cold. It's cold. Rip. I looked up. A drop fell from the ceiling. Then another. Then another. Rip. 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 The sound filled the room. Louder. Echoing. No, no, no. I backed toward the bed. Trying not to step in it. But the water kept spreading. Reaching the walls. The corners. A door. Like it was trapping me. "You came back." The whisper again. This time. From the hallway. Right outside my door. My chest tightened. Turned slowly. The door was open. I didn't open it. I was sure I didn't. And then, I saw it. Shadow. Standing in the hallway. But this time, it didn't disappear. Stood there. Its head almost touching the top of the frame. It didn't have a face. But I knew. It was looking at me. My body locked. I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. The air got colder. The water on the floor trembled slightly. Like something was breathing inside it. "Ayan!" The voice didn't come from one place anymore. Came from everywhere. The walls. The floor. The water. "You opened it." My heart skipped. What did I open? The shadow twitched. Just slightly. Like something inside it moved wrong. "You saw us." My hands started shaking. "No. I didn't. I didn't." The shadow took a step forward. The hallway floor creaked. Loud. Heavy. It wasn't just a shadow. Had weight. "Now we see you." The water reached my feet. Cold surged through my body. Gasp. And then, heard something else. From inside the water. Breathing. Low. Wet. Like something was just beneath the surface. I looked down. And my blood ran cold. Shapes. Moving. Under the water. Multiple. Pressing upward. Like hands. Trying to reach me. I stumbled back onto the bed. "No!" The shadow moved again. Closer. Right outside the door now. Its arm lifted. Too long. Too thin. Reaching toward the handle. "No, don't." The doorknob turned. Slowly. The metal creaked. The door pushed open further. The shadow leaned in. And the room got darker. Like it brought the darkness with it. "Let us in." My entire body froze. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. The water rose higher. Now covering the floor completely. The shapes beneath it pressed harder. Desperate. Hungry. "You belong here." The shadow stepped inside. And everything went silent. No dripping. No breathing. Nothing. Just it. Standing in my room. Right in front of me. I squeezed my eyes shut. "This isn't real." "Then open your eyes." The voice came from right in front of me. I didn't want to. But I did. Slowly. And what I saw wasn't a shadow anymore. Had a face. Not its own. Green. But wrong. Smiling. Too wide. Too empty. "We found you." My phone buzzed. Loud. Dark. Breaking the moment. The figure disappeared. The water. The room. Dry. Like nothing happened. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. New message. Unknown number. Just one line. The door is still closed for now. My breath stopped. Slowly, I turned my head toward the hallway. And for the first time, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. The far end. Behind the broken wardrobe. Small. Hidden door. Clapperboard Part 4. The door behind the wall. I didn't move for a long time. I just sat there on the edge of my bed, staring at the hallway. That spot. That door. It wasn't supposed to be there. I had walked past that hallway dozens of times already. There was nothing there before. Just a broken wardrobe pushed against the wall. Well, I see. Useless. But now, it felt like it had always been hiding something. My phone was still in my hand. The message burned into my mind. The door is still closed for now. For now. My chest tightened. That means, I whispered, it can be opened. And something inside me, something I couldn't explain, wanted to open it. I stood up slowly. Every instinct told me to leave the house. Run. Don't look back. But my feet didn't listen. They carried me into the hallway. Each step felt heavier than the last. Like the house itself was watching. Waiting. The air got colder again. That same damp smell returned. Stronger. Like something behind the walls had been soaking in water for years. I stopped in front of the wardrobe. It looked normal. Broken wood. Scratches. But now, there was water at the bottom. Thin line. Seeping out from behind it. Rip. A single drop hit the floor. I swallowed hard. No! But I reached out anyway. My fingers touched the wood. Cold. Too cold. I grabbed the side and pulled. The wardrobe scraped loudly across the floor. The sound echoed through the house. Unnatural. Like it was too loud for the space. For a second, I thought I heard something move downstairs. Froze. Listen. Silence. Then I pulled harder. The wardrobe shifted completely, revealing the wall behind it. And there it was. Small door. Wooden. Paint peeling off. And wet. Water dripped from its edges. Low. Steady. The handle was rusted. Dark stains ran down from it. I stepped closer. My breath shallow. Don't! The whisper. Right behind my ear. I spun around. Nothing. The hallway. But I knew. Something was standing there a second ago. Watching me. Waiting to see what I'd do. Don't open it. The voice came again. But this time, it didn't sound the same. It wasn't the wet whisper. This one sounded human. Desperate. My heart skipped. Who's there? No answer. Just the sound of dripping water. I turned back to the door. My hand hovered over the handle. And then, my phone buzzed. Flinched. Almost dropped it. Another message. I opened it slowly. Open it. My chest tightened. Another message. We are waiting. My fingers trembled. No. Third message. Photo. Opened it. It was the door. The same door. But from the other side. Something was standing there. Pressing against it. Trying to get out. I dropped the phone. My breathing turned uneven. There inside. My hand slowly moved toward the handle again. Don't. Asterisk. That desperate voice came back. Louder this time. If you open it, they'll see you. Tears formed in my eyes. I already saw them, I whispered. Silence. Then it's too late. My heart sank. I looked at the door. The dripping got faster. Rip. The wood trembled slightly, like something behind it moved. I couldn't stop myself anymore. I grabbed the handle. It was freezing, so cold it burned my skin. I hesitated for 1 second. Then I turned it. The lock clicked, loud, echoing. And the dripping stopped. Complete silence. I slowly pulled the door open. And a wave of cold air hit me. Stronger than anything before. A smell. Rotten water. Okay. Something old. Something trapped. I lifted my phone light. Shined it inside. It wasn't a room. It was a narrow passage. going down, up, covered in water. The walls were wet, black, and at the bottom, darkness, endless darkness. Come down. The whisper returned. From below. Not one voice. Many. Layered. Calling me. My legs felt weak. I shouldn't, I whispered. But my foot moved anyway. One step down. The water soaked into my shoe. It's cold. Then another step. And another. Each step louder than the last. The house above me felt distant. Like I was leaving it behind. The deeper I went, the quieter everything became. Until only the sound of water remained. Moving. Breathing. Alive. Halfway down. Stop. 'Cause I heard something else. Voice. Right behind me. Close it. Turn slowly. The hallway above was dark. Too dark. And the door was starting to close on its own. No! I rushed up. Grabbed it. Pulled it open again. My breathing heavy. I looked back down the stairs. And for a second, just a second, I saw movement in the darkness below. Something rising. Something that didn't belong in water. My heart dropped. I slammed the door shut. Locked it. Stepped back. Silence returned. But not the normal kind. This silence felt full. Like something was now awake. My phone buzzed again. I looked at it slowly. New message. You shouldn't have looked inside. Another message. Now it knows you. My throat went dry. What knows me? I whispered. The answer came immediately. But not from the phone. From behind the door. Voice. What? Not human. We do. Clapperboard Part 5. The house is moving. I didn't sleep. Not even for a second. I stayed in my room, back against the wall, staring at that hallway like something would crawl out of it if I blinked. The hidden door was closed. But I could still hear it. Water. Not dripping anymore. Moving. Low. Heavy. Like something large shifting beneath the surface. Every few minutes, I heard a soft thud from behind the wall. Then silence. Then again. Like something was testing the barrier. We do. The voice from earlier echoed in my head. Not from memory. From the house. Knew me now. And I knew something worse. Knew where I was. Check my phone. No signal. Battery dropping. Still no contact name. Just that empty thread of messages. Watching me. Waiting. I stood up slowly. My legs felt weak. Like I hadn't used them in hours. I need to leave, I whispered. I need to leave right now. That was the first logical thought I'd had all night. I grabbed my bag. Stuffed whatever I could into it. Didn't even think. Just panic. Wallet. Phone charger. I stepped into the hallway. And immediately stopped. Something was wrong. The hallway looked longer. I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't the same length. The distance to the front door felt stretched. No, I whispered. That's not possible. I took a step forward. The floor creaked. Loud. Echoing. Sound behind me. Turned quickly. My bedroom door was slowly closing. I didn't touch it. No. I rushed back. Grabbed it. Pulled it open again. My breath shaking. Inside the room. Everything was normal. Dry. But something felt off. Like I had just interrupted something. I stepped back into the hallway. Carefully. And that's when it happened. Chair moved. Right in front of me. It scraped across the floor. Slowly. By itself. Froze. No. The chair turned. Just slightly. Facing me. Like someone invisible was sitting in it. Watching. My heart started racing again. Stop, I whispered. Just stop. Then another sound. From the kitchen. Something fell. Glass. Shattering. Flinched. Okay, you're imagining things. But I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. I walked toward the kitchen. Slowly. Each step heavier than the last. The air got colder again. That smell. Stronger now. Rotting water. I reached the doorway. And stopped. A glass lay on the floor. Broken. Water spread around it. But that's not what made my chest tighten. The cabinet above the sink was open. I never opened it. Not once. I stared at it, waiting. Nothing. Slammed shut. Loud. Violent. Jumped back. My heart felt like it skipped a beat. "Stop it!" shouted. My voice echoed through the house. For a moment, everything went quiet. Too quiet. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to check it, but I did. New message. "You opened the door." Another. "You let us in." My hands started shaking. I didn't let anything in. But even as I said it, I didn't believe it. 'Cause something had changed. The house didn't feel empty anymore. Felt occupied. Turned slowly. The hallway behind me was darker now. The light from my phone barely reached the end. And then, I saw it again. The shadow. Standing at the far end. But this time, it wasn't alone. There were more. Shapes. Faint. Distorted. Moving slightly. Like they were trying to take form. My breathing became shallow. Closer. The whisper returned. But now, it wasn't just one voice. It was many. Layered. Overlapping. "You're already here." I stepped back. No. The floor beneath me creaked again. But something was wrong. The sound didn't match my movement. Came from somewhere else. Behind me. Turned slowly. And my blood ran cold. The floorboards were shifting. Not breaking. Moving. Like something underneath them was pushing up. Trying to get out. I stumbled back. The boards lifted slightly. Then dropped. Then again. Like breathing. The house was breathing. No, no, no. I ran toward the front door. I didn't care anymore. I just needed to get out. I grabbed the handle. Pulled. It didn't open. What? I pulled harder. Nothing. Checked the lock. It wasn't locked. But it wouldn't open. Like something on the other side was holding it shut. My chest tightened. "You can't leave." The voice came from behind me. Closer now. Turned slowly. The shadows were closer. Much closer. Standing halfway down the hallway now. Watching. Waiting. "You belong here." My breathing became uneven. "No. I don't." The temperature dropped again. My breath visible now. The walls started to change. Dark patches appeared. Spreading. Like water soaking through from the inside. Words began to form. Slowly. Wet. Dripping. "You saw us." Another wall. "You opened it." Another. "You stay." Backed away. "This isn't real." "It is now." The whisper came from right behind me. I turned. Nothing. But I could feel it. Right there. Breathing. My phone buzzed again. I looked down. Another message. Video. Press play. Showed my house. From above. Like something was watching from the roof. The camera slowly zoomed in. Through the ceiling. Into the hallway. Into my room. Behind the wall. Where the hidden door was. And inside. Something moved. Large. Shifting. Turning toward the camera. And then. Heard me. The video cut. I dropped the phone. No. And then. Heard it. From behind the hidden door. A loud. Heavy. Thud. The wall shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Another thud. Stronger. The door handle rattled. Violently. Like something was trying to break through. "Open it." The voice was louder now. Deeper. Angrier. "Let us out." The wood cracked slightly. I stumbled back. This can't be happening. Another thud. The door bent inward. Something pushed against it. From the inside. Something big. Something wet. Something that had been waiting. The handle twisted hard. And for a second. Stop. Complete silence. A whisper. Right behind me. "It's not the only door." My heart stopped. Slowly. I turned my head. Toward the hallway. Toward the place I thought I knew. And realized. There was another door. One that hadn't been there before. At the end of the hall. Slightly open. And something inside it. Was moving. Clapperboard Part 6. The walls started talking. I couldn't move. Not after seeing that second door. At the end of the hallway. Slightly open. Breathing. Yes, breathing. Because the air around it was moving in and out. Like something inside was alive. The hidden door behind me. Still shaking. Still being pushed from the inside. 2 sides. 2 threats. No escape. My chest felt tight. My mind couldn't process both at the same time. Okay. Okay. I whispered to myself. Think. But there was no thinking left. Only fear. My phone buzzed again. I looked down slowly. Another message. No number. No name. Just the same empty thread. Look at the wall. Froze. What? Then the wall next to me. Cracked slightly. Not broken. Just split. A thin line appeared. Running vertically. Like something inside was pressing outward. I stepped back. Low. Careful. Another crack appeared. Then another. The surface of the wall began to change. Dark stains spread across it. Slowly forming shapes. Letters. No paint. No ink. Just wet marks forming on their own. I stared. Unable to look away. The words became readable. You are inside. My breathing quickened. No. I'm still here. This is still my house. Another message formed below it. No. I stepped back again. The wall pulsed slightly. Like a heartbeat. But. From behind the hidden door. But. From the wall. But. From the second door at the end of the hallway. 3 different rhythms. 3 different presences. And somehow. They were connected. My phone buzzed again. I didn't want to look. But I did. A voice message this time. Press play. Static. Then a voice. My voice. But not exactly. Same tone. Same words. Wrong. It's okay. Just open the door. Froze. It's safer inside. My breath caught. Don't listen to them. Another voice overlapped. Not mine. Deeper. But. Let us out. The audio distorted. Multiple voices now. Talking over each other. Calling my name. Ayan. 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 I dropped the phone. No. Covered my ears. But it didn't stop. The voices were not coming from the phone anymore. They were coming from the walls. From the floor. From the ceiling. We see you. We hear you. You opened us. I stepped back toward the center of the hallway. The air felt suffocating. Like breathing underwater. The lights flickered. Even though the electricity had been unstable before. This was different. The flicker wasn't random. Followed a pattern. Like something was blinking. Watching. In sync with something else. I looked at the walls again. Now. The cracks had widened. The wall itself looked thin. Like it could break at any moment. And behind it. Movement. Low. Deliberate. Something pressed its hand against the inside of the wall. I could see the outline. Fingers. Long. Distorted. Pushing outward. No, I whispered. Another hand appeared. Then another. Multiple points across the wall. All pressing. All testing. The wall shifted inward slightly. Us fell. The structure groaned. It wasn't going to hold much longer. But. The hidden door behind me slammed harder. The sound echoed violently. Crack. The wood split slightly. My heart dropped. Okay. This is bad. This is really bad. I turned toward the second door at the end of the hallway. It was now open wider than before. Almost fully. Inside. Darkness. But not empty darkness. Moving darkness. Like water with no surface. Come. The voice came from inside that room. Not multiple voices this time. One. Clear. Controlled. Ayan, come here. My body reacted before my mind did. Step forward. Then I stopped. What am I doing? I whispered. The pull was real. Strong. Like gravity. Pulling me toward that second door. I resisted. Fought it. Don't go. Different voice. From behind me. The hidden door. Stay away from it. Now both sides were speaking. One calling me closer. The other warning me away. My head started spinning. Which one? I whispered. The hidden door shook again. The voices inside it became louder, angrier. Let us out. The second door at the end of the hallway went silent, completely. And that silence was worse. 'Cause now, only one presence remained active. Behind me. Turned slowly. The hidden door was cracking further, splitting at the edges. Something was forcing its way through. And then, a hand broke through the wood. With dark, long fingers, followed by another, tearing the door open from inside. Splinters fell. The door bent outward violently, and a shape began to emerge. Not fully visible, but clearly not human. Too large, too distorted, dripping water onto the floor. The smell intensified. Okay, something ancient. You opened it. The voice came from inside the hidden door, but now sounded closer, because it was coming out into my world. I stumbled backward toward the center of the hallway, caught between two doors, two forces, one behind me breaking free, one in front of me waiting. The second door at the end remained open, silent, watching, like it knew something I didn't. The hidden door behind me cracked open further. Another loud tear of wood, and the thing inside pulled itself halfway out. Its head tilted, slowly, toward me, and for the first time, I saw part of its face. Not fully, but enough. Wrong. Completely wrong. And it spoke, very clearly. You're not supposed to choose. My blood ran cold. You're supposed to join. The second door at the end of the hallway creaked slightly. Just a small sound. But it broke the silence. Something inside it moved closer to the opening. Now, both sides were aware of each other. The hidden door entity stopped moving, as if listening. Then slowly, it turned its head toward the second door. And for the first time, both presences acknowledged each other. A tension filled the hallway, like two predators sensing the same prey. My phone buzzed one last time. I didn't look at it immediately, but when I did, the message was different. No number, no text, just a recording. Press play. Familiar voice. Clear. Human. Daniel, you need to wake up. Froze. This isn't your house anymore. My heart stopped. You never left the lake. The screen went black. And in the reflection, I wasn't alone. Clapperboard Part 7. The truth started rewriting me. The words on my screen didn't just scare me. They collapsed something inside my mind. You never left the lake. My body went numb. Not fear anymore. Something deeper. Denial. No, that's not possible, I whispered. But the reflection in my phone was still there. And it was wrong. My posture looked slightly off. My shoulders heavier. My head tilted a few degrees more than it should have been. I raised my hand slowly. The reflection moved the same way. But delayed. Just by a fraction of a second. That tiny delay made my stomach turn. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a dull sound. The screen didn't crack. Just went dark. Silence returned. But not the peaceful kind. The kind that waits. Behind me. The hidden door had opened further. The entity inside was now halfway out. Its body was still partially stuck in the frame. Like it didn't fully belong in this space. Dripping. Breathing. Observing. And then stepped forward. Slowly. Each movement leaving wet marks on the wooden floor. You're confused, it said. Its voice no longer echoed. It was grounded. Present. Inside the same space as me. That's normal. I couldn't move. My legs refused. The second door at the end of the hallway still remained open. But now, something was different. The darkness inside it was no longer still. It was shifting, like a surface being disturbed. Ripples. Not water you could see, but something behaving like it. The entity from behind me continued speaking. You came here looking for answers. I swallowed hard. Didn't you? My throat felt dry. I don't understand what's happening. I managed. It tilted its head. Slowly. You heard the lake call your name. My chest tightened. Every night, images flashed in my mind. Sitting near the water. Late nights. A faint sound. A whisper. Pulling. I yawn. I remember that voice. Clear as day. You followed it. My breathing became uneven. You walked toward the water. The memory sharpened. The edge of the lake. The reflection. Wavy. Distorted. And then, entity paused. You stepped in. My mind resisted. No, I didn't. But the memory shifted. Fragments aligned. Cold water rising. Feet losing balance. Darkness pulling upward. You didn't come back up. My vision blurred slightly. What you are now is what remained. My knees felt weak. This house, the entity gestured slightly around us, is not a house. The walls creaked. It's a holding space. I shook my head. No, that's not real. But even as I said it, another memory surfaced. Walking into the house. Not entering it through a door, but waking up inside it. Confusion. Disorientation. No clear entry point. You built this place in your mind. The entity stepped closer. To make sense of where you are. The second door at the end of the hallway suddenly emitted a low sound. Hum. Like pressure building. Both entities reacted. They paused. Acknowledging each other again. Not enemies. Not allies. But something else. Balanced. The entity behind me spoke again. That one is the exit. I looked toward the second door. The darkness inside it seemed deeper now. More stable. But, the entity's tone shifted slightly. You can't leave through it as you are. My heart pounded. You have to choose what you are. I turned slightly toward it. Choose. It nodded slowly. You're split. The air felt heavier. Part of you stayed at the lake. And part of you came here. My mind struggled to process that. Two parts. If you go through that door, pointed toward the second door, the part of you that belongs here will remain. And the rest, pause, will go back to the lake. My stomach dropped. Or, it leaned slightly closer. You can stay. I stepped back instinctively. Stay here. Nodded. Fully. The second door's darkness shifted again. Something inside moved closer to the threshold. Waiting. Watching the conversation. But you won't be alone. The entity behind me smiled. A subtle, unsettling expression. None of us are. The realization hit slowly. Voices. The reflections. The messages. They weren't random. They were fragments. Other parts like me. Trapped. Divided. Communicating through broken channels. Daniel, the entity said. Hearing that name again felt strange. Like it belonged to someone else. You're close to remembering. My head throbbed. But memory alone won't free you. The second door creaked louder. The darkness inside seemed to react. Almost impatient. It's waiting for you. I looked between the two. Behind me. The entity that had broken through the hidden door. In front of me. The only visible exit. And both. Connected to something I didn't fully understand. What happens if I don't choose? I asked quietly. The entity didn't answer immediately. Instead, it looked at the second door. Then back at me. Then both sides will take what's left of you. The lights flickered again. But this time, not randomly, they dimmed. Gradually, as if power was being withdrawn. From the space itself. The second door opened a little wider. The darkness inside extended outward slightly. Almost like reaching. The entity behind me stepped back a fraction. For the first time. Uncertain. Time is thinning. My breathing quickened. You need to decide now. The walls started to faintly vibrate again. Not violently, but consistently. Like something large shifting somewhere beyond perception. I took a shaky step toward the center. Caught between both directions. Both futures. Both identities. And then, a whisper came from the second door. Clear. Close. Familiar. I yawned, turned, and for a split second, inside the darkness, I saw something looking back at me. Not clearly, but enough. It was wearing my face. Clapperboard Part 8. The lake was never outside. The face inside the darkness was mine. Not a reflection. Not an illusion. Blink. At the same time I did. My body froze completely. Because for a moment, I felt something inside my mind shift. Not a thought. Not a memory. Click. Like a lock opening. You see it now, the entity behind me said softly. Its tone had changed. Less aggressive. More certain. The second door's darkness pulsed once. The version of me inside it stepped closer, matching my movements perfectly. But I wasn't moving anymore. It was moving independently. That's the part of you that never left the lake. My breathing slowed. Not because I was calm. Because something inside me was being observed. Measured. And this, the entity behind me continued, is the part that formed here. The hallway seemed to distort slightly. Not physically breaking, but perception shifting. Like reality itself was trying to align two mismatched pieces. I looked down at my hands. They looked normal, but faintly transparent at the edges. Well, not transparent. Incomplete. You were never whole after the fall. The memory came back fully this time. Standing at the lake. Late night. Silence. The whisper. I yawn. I remember turning. Following the sound. Step by step. Closer to the water. The surface had been unusually still. Too still. And then, the reflection didn't match my movement. Moved first. Reaching upward. Before I even reacted. That's when I stepped back, lost balance, and fell in. Cold, immediate, overwhelming. The pull downward wasn't just physical. Felt intentional. Like something beneath the surface had been waiting. And then, darkness. No clear ending. No clear death. Just separation. You didn't die completely, the entity behind me said. You fractured. The hallway walls began to fade slightly at the edges. Not disappearing, but losing definition. Part of you remained in the water. The version inside the second door spoke now. Its voice was identical to mine, but calmer, more aware. And part of you created this place. The hidden door behind me creaked softly. The entity there was still present, still watching, but no longer forcing movement. Because the conflict had changed. This wasn't about escape anymore. It was about integration. You've been trying to make sense of yourself, the entity said. Through patterns, through voices, through doors. The second version of me raised its hand and placed it against the inside of the darkness. The surface rippled like water. This is the boundary between what you left behind and what you constructed. My chest felt tight again, but not from fear, from realization. So what happens now? I asked quietly. Both entities were silent for a moment. Then they spoke, almost in unison. You choose. The words echoed through the hallway, not as sound, but as meaning. Not between doors, but between states. I looked at the second door, the version of me inside it. Then at the entity behind me, both representing parts of the same existence. If I go through that door, I said, I become whole. The entity behind me replied, you return to the lake. With awareness. I turned slightly. And you? Asked. Pause. I remain here. I looked back at the second version of me. And you? It answered calmly. I merge. Silence filled the hallway. The vibrations stopped. The light stabilized for the first time. Everything became still. Balanced. You don't have much time left in this separated state. The second version stepped closer to the threshold. The longer you remain divided, the harder it becomes to unify. My mind felt clearer now. Not less afraid, but more aware. I understood something important. This wasn't about escape. It was about returning to a state that was never complete to begin with. A single identity, split across two realities, water, and constructed space. I took a slow step forward, toward the second door. The darkness inside didn't feel hostile anymore, just unfamiliar. Ayun. The entity behind me said one last time. I turned slightly. When you return. Pause. Don't resist the memory. I nodded slowly, then looked forward again. At the second version of myself. It reached out its hand, erased mine. And just before contact, everything went completely silent. No hallway, no doors, no entities, just water, cold, endless. And for a brief moment, I was not two, I was one. Skull final twist. I never left the lake. What you just experienced was the part of me that surfaced long enough to tell the story. The house, doors, voices, were not places. They were fragments of a mind trying to stabilize after drowning. The hidden door, the part of me trying to escape. The second door, the part of me that accepted the lake. And the entities, other fractured awarenesses, trapped in the same state, now unified, or almost, 'cause sometimes, when the water is still at night, I hear someone calling my name again. And this time, I don't know if it's from outside, or from the part of me that never came back.